Pizza Jaffa's orange grows. Microchips is us. iPhone cameras us. Taco salads us. Dodavabanos us. Olive Garden us. White phosphor us. Sabra Hamas. Hezbollah us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bad Hasbara,
the world's most binaural podcast.
Ooh, binaural beats, baby. They go left, they go right. My name is Matt Lieb. I will be your most moral co-host for this podcast.
I'm Daniel Mate. I'm the other one. Welcome, everybody.
Oh, so excited to have all of you here with us once again for another episode of just the absolute moral destruction of the world. Give us 5 stars and review. That's always good to do during dark times. If you have any of the podcast apps and you want to help us be discoverable, that helps a lot. So, go to whatever app you use, and if they allow you to do reviews, do it. Give us a review. Send us some stars. So please subscribe, youtube.com. We're at Bad Hasbara. You saw the link. If you're watching, just click the subscribe button for gosh sakes. And then merch. We now have a t-shirt that we sell. It is union-made merch, so there is almost no profit made from it because it's so expensive to make, but so many people have been asking for like a shirt that we went ahead and made it. So you can go to badasbar.com, get yourself a shirt. Speaking of shirts, Daniel, you are under arrest by the Bobbies for wearing a Palestine action shirt. Oh, wait. It says plasticine action.
Oi, got you, didn't I?
Oh, you tricked me. Oh, David Bickham. We need to get someone on the pod from the UK to talk about that situation, because that is some of the craziest shit I have heard.
Yeah.
The idea that you can be arrested for wearing a shirt that says Palestine action is insane.
When Stanley will come back.
Oh, yeah, maybe he'd come back. That would be great. But yeah, anyways, get a shirt that won't get you arrested at badhasbara.com. Get tickets to our show in Brooklyn. We have tickets left for the Bell House. It's going to be myself, Francesca Fiorentini, and Daniel Mate, plus others. You can
not a Bad Hasbara show, but a Bad Hasbara extended universe show.
Extended universe show. It's a stand-up show. It's not a live podcast. Our live podcast is sold out, unfortunately, but we will do more. We will do bigger venues in the future, and more.
I visited our venue for our shows, the Gutter.
I saw that.
Tiny.
Yes,
but intimate. It's going to be
intimate,
great.
Exactly. And you know what? This is also going to be our first ever Bad Hasbara show. So we gotta try it out in front of a test audience to see if we.
It's not like we're truing on. Like we can sell out like 4 nights at the Society for Ethical Culture wherever they're playing.
How many seats is that?
I don't know, but several hundred, I think.
Yeah,
maybe not. Maybe it's not that big, but it's 4 nights over the course of 4 months.
Hundred.
And one of those nights coincides with
one of our dates.
With one of our dates. But I want to say to our listeners, even though our show is sold out, even if you couldn't get tickets to ours, if you go to that show, you're dead to us.
That's right.
You should be sitting at home.
Or sit outside the venue.
Or sit outside the venue crying.
That's what I used to do when I couldn't get Radiohead tickets before Radiohead failed me. So, please show up. Anyways, yell at us from outside the venue. Today's episode is brought to you by the Gaza City Flower Fund, now more than ever, because of what's obviously going on in northern Gaza. There is ramped up attacks, and the Gaza City Flower Fund is raising money to feed up to 250 families in and near Gaza City with 2-kilogram sacks of flour purchased at disaster premium prices and given directly to hungry families. You can donate right now at bit.ly/Gaza Flower Fund. Moshen, who is in North Gaza, who's doing a lot of the organizing of this, is the main person in Gaza doing it, along with Harley in the UK, who's helping get the money to him. They actually put out a video of them getting all the food together and whatnot. And I don't know if you noticed, but they put, without me asking, by the way, they put Bad Hezbollah on their like menus and stuff. It's crazy. Look at this. Do you see that?
God.
Yes. And and then here's them making the food. And it's all mutual aid, so it's everyone is pitching in, and you can see on Motion's Instagram them like handing the food to families and stuff. And
Somewhere right now there's a Hasbaris typing furiously. See, there's no famine. Look at
Right,
all that
exactly.
food. See how big those pots are?
Yeah, exactly. What do you need pots that big when you? Yeah, exactly. So ignore all of the noise from the psychopaths out there who are doing modern day Holocaust denial. Please donate.
We debunked that thoroughly on our last Patreon episode with Ahmed Eldin.
That's right. We really did. And if you want to hear that, then you can join us on Patreon, patreon.com/badasbara. But before you do that, if you have any money, please donate it to the Gaza City Flower Fund.
Indeed.
Okay. Shout out to producer Adam Levin on the ones and twos. Daniel, what's the spin?
Today, the spin is devoted to artists that my brother Aaron introduced me to, or artists that Aaron has been into since we were kids, just for whatever reason, because there's just a bunch of them recently.
It was just albums, just like the Wiggles. I'm just thinking of you as children.
Raffi.
Raffi. I mean, Raffi's
Aaron dressed up as Raffi as a kid. I have a picture
Really?
of that song for Halloween. Yeah.
Oh, I love
no,
that.
not for Halloween. He actually went
For
to the
Purim.
Vancouver Children's Festival dressed up as Raffi to meet Raffi, and there's a picture of the two of them
I
together.
love that.
This is a new jazz record by the British drummer. What's his name? Damn it. Yusuf Dayes, or Dayes, Dayes, called Black Classical Music. Absolutely just immaculate jazz. And I love it when a drummer is the leader of a jazz combo, because
Yeah.
you know that the drums are going to be extremely well recorded and
Yes.
not just be rhythmic.
That's why
background.
That's why I love the band Genesis when Phil Collins was the singer. My
Right?
favorite jazz band.
She seems to have an invisible touch. Yeah. This is a record by, his name is Marcus Brown, but he goes by Nourished by Time. He's from Baltimore, a friend of Aaron's. Be-More.
Cool.
This is not his latest album. His latest album, The Passionate Ones, just came out, but this is his previous album, Erotic Probiotic 2. Fantastic. Just really cool. I want to say R&B, but that doesn't really capture it. He's just a great songwriter, and he produces it all himself.
Cool.
And he produced that album in his parents' basement in Baltimore.
Nice.
This is Marvin Gaye's divorce album, Here My Dear. He actually made this album to fulfill a contractual obligation, I think, to Motown Records. So and his wife in the split got like at least half of the royalties.
Wow.
So it's called Here My Dear. It's like, here you go. And it's a bitter but very tender also chronicle of a failed relationship. And for me, that's kind of poignant because this past Saturday was the 10-year anniversary of my ill-fated wedding.
That's crazy. That's kind of like that's a more classy version of Noah Baumbach having to do the screenplay to Ice Age 2 in order to get pay for his divorce.
In order to get to do Marriage Story?
Yeah, in order to eventually do Marriage Story. A wonderful, dramatic story about what if you married someone who was more of a New York person, but you were an LA person. Crazy. We've all been there. We've all been
being alive. The Ice-T album, OG Original Gangster, his best album, and Aaron could recite every lyric off of here, including I work hard for my living, but I don't celebrate no bullshit Thanksgiving. Sit around like some fool eating turkey. That's the day your ancestors jerked me.
Oh, damn.
Great line. And finally, Aaron was a big New Jack Swing fan back in the day. Belle Biv DeVoe. Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah.
Number 1 on the charts. Belle Biv DeVoe. That's a Kids in the Hall reference.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It's a great skit with Kevin McDonald after his wife leaves him, of all things.
Look at this.
Just having a complete meltdown in front of his kid reading the newspaper.
I love it. I love the theme, the divorce theme. of
That's true.
of
It's not got nothing to do with Aaron. I just wanted to talk about my divorce. It turns out.
Well, that's life. Sometimes you're with somebody, sometimes you're not, and that's
Yeah.
why we have music.
That's right.
That is
yeah.
what is spinning this week. And now we are pleased to introduce our guest for this week's Bad Hasbara. He is the host of the A Bit Fruity podcast. He is an anti-Zionist Jew who has been active and speaking out against this genocide before literally anyone else was doing it with any
And he has
status
the
at
best
all.
nails in the game.
Best goddamn nails in the game. Ladies and gentlemen and everyone else, please welcome to the podcast, Matt Bernstein. What's up?
Hi. Thank you
Hi,
so
Matt.
much for having me. I definitely was not even close to the first person, but
No, I mean, listen.
but
I'm not
it was
saying-
early. It was early. It was early.
It was
You're- and you're very
early.
kind.
And I think, I was not familiar with you before October 7th. And I remember, I think we all remember around that time, the just abject, absolute silence from anyone in the entertainment industry. It was something that was noticeable because of the fact that we know so many people who make it their business to talk about current events, to talk about politics, to talk about social justice. And I just was looking and seeing nothing. The only people who were talking about it were people who, weren't in entertainment. They were, just regular people. But you were one of the few who early on was speaking out against it. So first, I want to say thank you for coming on the podcast. And second, I want to say thank you for speaking. I think that is awesome.
Well, I'm so happy that I'm here. You and I made one of my favorite episodes on my podcast, which was
cool.
called The Anti-Semitism Panic.
Yes.
Around a lot of, influencers and the way they stoke fear in their audiences so as to, manufacture ongoing consent for genocide. And I'm just so happy to be here.
I'm stoked that you're here. I want to first, start by asking you about what you dealt with when you were speaking out so early on.
And what were you known for before speaking out?
Well, so I have been a political creator, kind of progressive commentary guy online, on Instagram, on Twitter, with my podcast for a number of years. For a long time, I mainly stuck to like LGBT type stuff. I would talk about being Jewish, but I did not talk really at all about the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And then after October 7th happened, it was an interesting thing because I had this audience and they knew that I was Jewish and they knew that I was gay and they knew that I was progressive. And so within that audience, there were a lot obviously of, left-wing progressives. And there were also some gay Jews who were Zionists.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hadn't really spoken about Israel, because it wasn't a huge part of my own political ethos, which is embarrassing to say. It's
understandable. It's a lot of people, I think it just was not something that they ever considered or thought of,
And I think for a lot of Jews, they were keeping it at bay. No pun intended.
Totally. But after October 7th happened, I was getting flooded with messages, both from progressives who were saying, please talk about Palestine and say something in support of Palestine, and also from way more Zionists than you might have expected who were following me at the time, who said, please say something in support of Israel.
Right.
And so it was really like this position that I was in as a result of my job and my work that forced me to be like, okay, well, I have to talk about this, because if I don't talk about this as a political creator, people are going to start asking why.
Right.
And so I just tried to learn as much as I could in a pretty short amount of time. And then in the 2 years since then, and that led me to the conclusion of wait, first of all, this is apartheid. This is occupation. This has been apartheid and occupation for over 70 years. And we are witnessing the beginning of the genocide. Because within days of October 7th, Israel had already murdered more Palestinians than Israelis had died on October 7th. So it was like immediately kind of what I thought was very easy to denounce. But I mean, it was crazy. Like the first thing that I posted, which basically just said, I don't stand with Israel, because that's when all the celebrities were posting their I stand with Israel Instagram stories.
Yes.
Did you? I don't know if you're into musical theater. I write musicals. Did you see that when the whole Broadway community went out to Times Square and sang "Bring Them Home"?
Oh yeah,
from Les Mis, including a lot of people that I've worked with and know personally. It was so embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing. And yeah, I mean, the first thing that I posted, I rarely get nervous about posting about politics. I'm like, I know what I believe in. If you have an issue with it, you can have an issue with it. But like, this is my truth, whatever. I was so nervous about this because I knew that it was going to fracture familial relationships, childhood relationships, whatever. All of this is very insignificant compared to genocide. It goes without saying. But like that first post, it got like 800,000 likes.
Damn.
Thousands of people unfollowed me. Thousands of people followed me. It was all a lot to take in. I mean, like people who I knew so little that their numbers weren't even saved in my phone were reaching out to me, being like, "Hey, I got this one text from someone who was like, it was this long. It was super long.
Yeah,
and it was like, please be careful how you wield your platform. Da 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 da." And I didn't have this person's number saved, and I said, "Who are you?"
Right.
And he said, "Oh, we met at a house party at Art Basel last year. We had a conversation on a white couch." And I was like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but we don't know each other. I don't know what gives you the feeling like that you have the right to like message me about how I wield my platform. I don't fucking know you. I talked to you at what? Who are you?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
this is like such a common thing, man. After October 7th, if you were someone who was speaking out, especially if you were Jewish and speaking out against the genocide, getting messages from people who you've barely interacted with. And you always know it's bad when you get the long one, when you're just like, as soon as it's long, you go, "Oh, here we go." Now I got to read a bunch of old Hasbara 101.
This woman I went to college with, who we were not in the same year, so we never had a single class together. And I think we exchanged, like we were in the same program, and I think we exchanged over the course of, years, 7 words, asked if she could talk to me on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a version of that every single day for like months. And it has, that was a hard time. Again, way harder for people like enduring genocide than it was for like a Jewish influencer in New York. But
sure.
And I always feel the need to like put that in there. But
no, of course.
That was a hard time. I mean, like I was shunned by colleagues. I was dropped by representation. Not a unique story.
No, unfortunately not.
But it was just hard, and so many people made me feel like I had like committed this ultimate sin that would be the end of my career, be the end of my social life. And it's been a real mind fuck the last couple months, especially watching a greater portion of the United States especially like come around kind of.
Yeah.
But it's also just like people like especially Palestinians have been saying that this is exactly where we are right now, is exactly where we were always going to end up.
Yeah. And
here we are. And so it's just, I'm really frustrated, and I haven't really made peace with what happened then.
Yeah. And it's hard to, were you yelled at by your management, or did they just drop you?
Oh no, I was crucified.
Yeah.
I was crucified over the phone.
This has been a story I've heard too many times to count now from multiple people in the entertainment industry who, it's one thing to just be dropped. I know one person who was kind of dropped silently. no conversation, no nothing. They just, found out through a third party. They're like, we tried to call your agents and they say they no longer represent you. But I know a bunch of people who were yelled at on multiple occasions, multiple phone calls by the people who work for them. And I mean, that's the, thing about the, entertainment industry is like, ostensibly your agents and your managers are your, are people who work for you. You're their client or they're your whatever. They're supposed to work for you. And they're the ones who are yelling at you about, your political positions. And it's just so funny to me.
If they were in the right, if they really deeply down thought that they were in the right, they might say something like, hey, I actually can't continue to work for you in good conscience. Like your views just don't align with mine. But instead, it's like, on your way out the door, on my way out the door, I'm going to give you this fucking righteous lecture.
Right.
Because like you said, it's heresy that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
It's apostasy. You're leaving the cult, and we're gonna give you something to think about forever. And it's the chilling effect. You're never supposed to speak again.
Yeah,
Yes.
there was a lot of crazy shit that happened with some of my representation. And I will say, like, people who I work with who help me do my job, who were outside of like a major agency were amazing. And the people who like understood what I was about were wonderful. And I still work with those people. But, like I did have major agency representation. And I remember when I put my first post up that got like more traction than I anticipated, than I think anybody anticipated. They like got me on the phone, and I was like thinking like, oh, we're just gonna like talk about like how do we deal with this amount of attention, and vitriol and all of this stuff that's coming my way. And immediately my agent at the time goes into a monologue about how she used to believe in a two-state solution, but it's
sobered
just
up.
But it's just not feasible anymore, and we have to do something. And I was like, oh my God, like I thought we were going to be talking about my hate mail, but you're just calling me to do hate mail.
Yeah, she just,
Like,
well, no, I
it
wanted
was-
to add to it.
It's too bad too, because if you're looking for common ground, reactionary Zionists and us have that in common. We used to believe in a two-state solution too.
Yeah, that's right.
We just
That's
went in the other direction.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we decided everyone deserves human rights, and
Yes.
and they decided that some
Yeah.
people aren't human and deserve to be genocided,
And that we
ethnically
can't half
cleansed.
step in terms of being just. We can't be like, well, let's hold on to our racist state and give them a token crumb. You know?
Right.
Yeah, to be clear, she was not, arguing in favor of dissolving the apartheid state. She was, she was arguing for ethnic cleansing.
Yeah.
So
and it's
that was, and it was, and I will say too, like I'm 26 now, and I know that's still really young. And this was 2 years ago. Like I felt like a really like little fish in a big pond with like all this agency stuff. And like I talk about it confidently now, and I have had years to think about what happened with all of the professional and social fallout. But at the time, it was terrifying.
yeah.
Like they really succeeded for a period of time in making all of us terrified to speak.
Yeah. No, I mean 100%, and it's that to me is why voices like yours stood out, because I just knew so many people. I was having so many conversations with people who were who agreed with me. And they worked as writers or actors and whatnot, and but they were just scared shitless of the amount of stories they've heard of people who, barely said anything and lost their job, lost their agency, lost whatever. And and again, none of that, all of it pales in comparison to experiencing an actual genocide. But you see the use of the of intimidation and the chilling effect, out here as almost like it's like a Nerf microcosm of what it is to be a Palestinian. It's it's like for us, it's the fear of losing a job. It's not the fear of losing our life. And you see the way in which Israel uses the drastic consequences in order to stop people from doing anything they were thinking of doing in order to speak out for Palestinians. And you see that especially when it comes to journalism. And of course, this parallel is super weak. Of course, it is like there is no comparison between the two. But as a way to segue into our next subject, I will say that you are seeing the most blatant attempt to tell people these are the consequences if you try to get the word out. And, for you or I, it's losing your platform, losing your ability to speak, losing your income from, doing your job, and in losing sleep.
Yeah.
And in Gaza, it's losing your life. I mean, we're talking about the attack on the Nasser Hospital in South Gaza that just recently happened. And it wasn't just an attack. It was a message. It was a message to every journalist, every person in Gaza, and every Palestinian. We will not let you tape us. We will not let you get the word out.
And ironically enough, it was a televised message.
Yes.
It was done in full view of the entire world. I mean, when they killed Anas al-Sharif, I don't know that we have footage of that. We have footage of this.
No, we have footage of the aftermath
of this so-called double tap, which I would urge us not to use that term. That's as euphemistic as knock on the door or mowing the lawn. Yes. What it is a serial murder.
Yeah.
And it's not only that, but it's a death trap because you bomb a hospital and then you wait for the emergency crews and the first responders to go in, and then you bomb the hospital.
Yes. And this was so blatant and brazen that I think it ended up having the opposite effect. So just to get into it. So first of all, I don't know if you guys experience this when it comes to Israel, but like everything is deja vu. Everything is, didn't they just do this? Every attack that I've seen at this point feels like a rerun. And I almost feel like this is like the strategy. Mm-hmm. Like, have you guys ever seen the movie Minority Report?
I actually haven't. No, the Spielberg movie.
Okay, so it doesn't matter. But in that movie, the way that someone is able to pull off a murder at a time when there's these magical precognitive sages who are able to see. What about the Fablemans? Have you seen the Fablemans?
I have seen the Fablemans.
Okay,
yes.
Great movie. But
very long.
The only way in which a murder can be pulled off is for you to repeat the exact same crime over and over, and then people just think that they're seeing a repeat, they're seeing an echo. That's what it feels like watching this. Like, first of all, the double tap. This term that we are making trafe is a term that they've done it multiple times. 972 magazine published an investigation, and they've said that Israel security forces had, quote, this has become standard procedure in Gaza during the war, which is to like shoot and then wait 7 minutes for emergency services to come and shoot again. The other reason is that you might be having deja vu is the fact that this hospital has been attacked several times in the last 2 years. Here's just a quick list of the attacks. So first we have December 2023. There was an Israeli shooting in the maternity ward, which killed a 13-year-old girl and wounded 3 others. In January and February of 2024, after intensifying bombardment, Israeli forces besieged and then raided the hospital, leading to the collapse of services. A shell hit the orthopedic ward. Patients died due to lack of oxygen from a power outage. March 2024, besieged again, more shelling. They also hit the surgical unit that time. April 2024, following the withdrawal of Israeli forces, mass graves containing hundreds of bodies were uncovered at the site. May 2025, an Israeli attack on the hospital killed at least 18 people, including Palestinian journalists. June 2025, another strike killed 3 people, wounded 10. And then this strike in August. Like, just attacking this is South Gaza's only functioning hospital. To continue the attacks on this hospital is just so disgusting and so brazen that you can't even like compute it, because you go like, are you just allowed to do whatever you want? Like you just watch these blatant attacks and no one is stopping it. It's just so.
But some people are expressing strong concern, Matt.
That's true.
Right.
David Lammy in the UK was very upset about this.
Yeah, that's right.
It really did not go down smoothly with his daily shipment of weapons to Israel. It just really left a bitter taste in his mouth.
But I know this is a rhetorical question, but they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. That's it.
It's such a weird state to be living in, and I think a lot lately about just like the erosion of democracy in general. I can't imagine why, but it's weird because we're all watching this happen, right? I mean, they attack this hospital again and again and again, the only functioning hospital in South Gaza. Netanyahu put out a statement either this morning or last night that it was a, quote, tragic mishap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, who is this even for?
Yes.
Who is this even for? You've done this weekly for 2 years.
Yes.
It's just, I mentioned the erosion of democracy because it's weird. It's like the entire world is outraged, and yet there are no consequences. It just leads to the feeling of helplessness for the individual, watching
and
this
that's
happen.
and that's part of the point is to pummel us with a fucking dumbbell stuck in a sock, just whipping up us upside the head until it's a kind of moral concussion you get actually.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you just can't. Yeah. We're supposed to accept that this is just the world now. It doesn't matter if we believe them anymore. Hasbara used to care whether you believed it, and I can't. Especially when you say, "Who is this for?" Well, compare and contrast what they say in English,
yes,
versus what they say on the home front.
Yes,
and I think we have that.
Yeah. So here is the English reporting around this. So it's like. First, this was Al Jazeera English reporting. Reuters reports that their live video feed from the hospital, which was operated by cameraman Hossam Al-Masri, suddenly shut down at the moment of the initial Israeli attack on the hospital. And then here is, more reporting from Haaretz. So first, I'll read you Benjamin Netanyahu's tweet in which and this came out much more rapidly than in the past. In the past, they've, it's always special when they feel the need to do the public-facing, English-facing, like, oh man, this is really sad and we're really sorry. So he wrote, Israel deeply regrets the tragic mishap that occurred today at the Nasser Hospital in Gaza. Israel,
it's not a mishap, it's a hap.
Yeah,
exactly. It's just
doing.
a hap.
Yes, it's just they're doing what they do. Israel values the work of journalists, medical staff, and all civilians. The military authorities are conducting a thorough investigation. Our wars with Hamas terrorists. Our just goals are defeating Hamas and bringing our hostages home. And there was a statement that was put out in English echoing this from a new guy in Israeli Hasbara. This is the first time I've seen him. IDF spokesperson Effie Defrin.
Okay.
His name
Put that in your syringe and plunge it.
I know.
It does sound that way.
Very epinephrine. Like Israelis being named epinephrine. Effie Defrin. I don't want to be the guy who laughs at funny names. I'm not that. But when your names sometimes are Eaton Fishburger and epidefrin. Anyways, the point is epidefrin is very good.
And we should show some due deference.
Yes.
To epidefrin.
Epidefrin helps against going into anaphylactic shock and awe. So here is epidefrin talking about what had happened at the hospital. Here it is.
Earlier today, IDF troops carried out a strike in the area of Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis.
The area
We are
of?
aware of reports.
Yeah, the area of. I mean, to be fair, it is a really big hospital, so it is the area of when they just do just a portion, just the part where the journalists were.
If I shoot you in the forehead,
Right.
shots were fired in the area of Matt Lieb.
Yeah, it's in
the neighborhood that Matt
the-
Lieb lives in.
Yeah, the general direction of my brain. All right, here we go.
caused to civilians, including journalists. I would like to be clear from the start. The IDF does not intentionally target civilians. The IDF makes every effort to mitigate harm to civilians while ensuring the safety of our troops.
Hold on, pause.
Any incident
I love intentionally target. Because take the word intentionally out. Take that qualifier out. What are you left
Yeah.
with?
Right.
You don't intentionally target civilians.
Right. Yeah.
When you target civilians, it's unintentional,
right. Yeah.
which is just complete nonsense.
Right,
Targeting
yeah.
is targeting, and you do target civilians, and it is completely intentional.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just there's the like implicit qualifier of civilians or non-combatants, where it's just like, yeah, no, we don't kill civilians. Luckily for us, we have a unit of people at the IDF who make sure that these people are not considered civilians
That's
after we smear their name.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's like, it's all, it can all hold up in court, I think.
They handle the civilian part in post.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
raises concern in this regard is addressed by the relevant mechanisms in the IDF. We are operating in an extremely complex reality. Hamas terrorists deliberately use civilian infrastructure,
Oh my God,
including
it's the same
hospitals, as
shit.
shields.
It's the same shit. It's the same shit. It's the same shit over and over and over again.
You know, I will say, like, I haven't really paid much attention to the output, the official output from the state of Israel, because I think it's so besides the point.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm seeing this for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of shocking to me that they still even put this much effort into, like, fake excuses.
I know.
Because
I know. Especially when they already have a video. I'd like just re-release an old video and make it like Mad Libs, where you just, put a blank space in the name of the place and the date. And
Yeah.
And it's just, but it's interesting to me because like 2 years later, it's like they're still just like human shields, human shields, human shields. It's like, I don't know. I guess I am in my own bubble, but it's hard to believe that people are still buying such bullshit, like such blatant bullshit. You know, and
Yeah.
People they need to buy it are buying it.
Yeah.
They're
Mainstream.
subscribed to it. The free press people,
Yeah.
the fucking CNN people.
Yeah.
Anyone, all they're doing is putting up a buffer between the human mind, heart, and soul and the natural moral instinct and response. They're just putting up, they're putting up a security perimeter between you and how the human part of you would respond to what you're actually seeing.
Yeah.
yeah, it's well said.
And it's also important to note that when they are speaking to you in English, they are very aware of what their audience or who their audience is, and they know that they're dealing with an audience of people who are not going to be in any way impressed with the idea of killing journalists and just smearing them over and over again as actual secret Hamas agents and combatants. and we've done this before where we've compared their coverage in English to Hebrew, but this one is just so night and day, because what they are telling their own citizens in Israel and any Hebrew speakers is just so markedly different from the tone and the content of the Hezbollah that we see that's English world facing. Here is
there really is no other country in the world that has such a dual personality, inward and outward.
Yeah,
I have not seen this. I want to know what they said.
I mean, it is, well, here is a couple things from Channel 14, which is a news channel in Israel.
This is an incident that has been making a lot of noise since this morning. But as of this evening, from the details we have gathered so far, it is explicitly clear. Our fighters acted as required. We are now publishing this after a conversation with the forces involved in the mentioned attack. They are claiming unequivocally that the attack was authorized and coordinated with senior command, and they were aware of it before it was carried out. Additionally, in recent days, in the Golani storm on one of the upper floors of the Nasser terror headquarters, an advanced camera has been installed that is observing them and apparently gathering intelligence in preparation for a terror operation that could endanger their lives. Furthermore, intelligence personnel understand that those operating it are terror operatives, and therefore decided to carry out an attack to eliminate the threat.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that. They set up a camera to surveil these kindly visitors.
Yes.
Yes. Imagine having the audacity to try and collect intelligence on the fucking invaders.
But what's worse is that, like, if that were the case, that's not the case. What they ended up doing is seeing cameras, seeing journalists, and killing them and claiming they are Hamas cameras. They literally have used the phrase Hamas cameras.
Cameras are
Hamas.
Hamas.
Cameras are Hamas now.
Yeah.
And, it's just like, you can't take any of this seriously if you are, I think, someone who's even just like moderately informed about about Israel, about Palestine. Like, this is for their own citizens. So let them know, don't worry, guys, there was a Hamas camera there. We did the right thing. And also they are openly admitting that this double tap attack was authorized at the highest levels. That the 7-minute interlude between the first attack and then the second attack was authorized. And this is not information that you're going to see in English by Benjamin Netanyahu in his tweet. He's not going to talk about that. He's going to say, we don't know what happened there. So we'll find out and we'll let you know. We think it's terrible that this happened. Hopefully we can all get some sleep and forget in the morning.
The word they'll never use in Hebrew is tragedy.
Yeah, no.
There's nothing tragic to them about this.
No, yeah, this is all just it's all just part of it for them, and you just look at the way in which they are telling their own citizens, like, this kind of behavior is okay, and you just like. You just don't see it. You don't see Western media talking about Israeli society in this way, where you go like, hey, what the fuck is going on there that they barely need any excuse at all in order to, like, kill civilians.
The lack of coverage of the Israeli media in the non-Israeli Western media
is crazy.
Is unconscionable. It's unfathomable. All of this stuff is available.
Yeah.
It's so fucking revealing, and it puts the lie to everything the New York Times says.
Yeah.
About Israel. By the way, was that dubbing done by AI? I have to say, the AI dubbing. I think Adam put it through a dubbing, like a translation generator. I got to say, the Israeli accent on the AI is probably the best accent ever done on this show.
It's crazy.
It's very uncanny. They get the lilt just right. It's scary.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I have always been very cautious around like applying cult language to things that seem cultish.
Sure, of course.
I have an aunt who was raised by her parents in a cult as a child. So she would always kind of be like, be careful about, how you talk about cults.
Sure.
Not everything is a cult. I was in a cult.
Right.
But there really is something so cult-like, like doomsday cult-like about Israel.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I think especially around the way that cults talk about outsiders and like everyone who is not in this is out to get us, and we have to like increasingly, sort of hunker down, because the end is coming, and like we are the chosen people, and like we will protect each other. And everyone outside of these four walls is an invader. And it's like, you really get that with the way they talk about like cameras are Hamas. Even like I was watching like a Lizzie Savetsky video that she just put up recently. I don't know if you guys have talked about. Okay.
Lizzo
Okay,
Savetsky.
Yeah, Lizzie's just, you can't not watch Lizzie. She's insane.
But so there were these huge protests in Israel, which you might have seen recently, where like hundreds of thousands of people were like marching like for a ceasefire, essentially. And
not all for the best reasons, but definitely tired of this so-called war.
Right.
Yeah,
and
they were
more
like,
so than ever before.
Yeah.
My understanding is it's like anti-Netanyahu Zionists.
Right.
But she made a video calling them like, she wasn't calling them Hamas, but she was saying that they're giving power to Hamas by protesting Netanyahu. And she just made another video about how Reform Jews have lost their way. And it's just it's interesting. I mean, like the purity testing and the closing of ranks and the fear mongering about outsiders, like there is something so cult-like about it. And like I have someone who was my friend for a very, very long time who in the last couple of years really, really, really went down this in a serious way. And this person cut off everyone who is not an extreme devotee, and it's strange to watch. It really is. And I've talked with other people about like how do we pull this person out? And it really does feel like you're talking about someone who slipped into a cult.
Yeah. Well, the main difference, and there are so many similarities. The main difference is all cults talk about outsiders. Not many cults talk to outsiders this much.
Yeah.
The outward facing, I mean, Scientology, I guess, but they mainly speak through lawsuits.
Right. Right.
Israel is constantly screaming at the outside world while they're screaming at each other on the inside and saying completely different things.
Yeah. And it's also, I think,
most cults leave the outside world alone and want to be left alone.
Right.
But Israel can't do that. The Ziontologists have to have the propaganda barrage going in both directions.
Yeah, because they require the support of the outsiders, and
well,
it's that Jenny Slate clip from whatever show that was, where she's like, "Daddy, give me money, please."
Oh yeah.
Well, and it's like, I mean, the worst part about most cults is that the people inside of them are doing harm to themselves.
Right.
Yes.
Which is also, it's like, okay, if I lost a friend to a cult, it would be to a normal cult, it would be tragic for the loss of this friend, but in this case it's a murder cult.
Right.
It kills other people,
Yeah.
Which is why it's like not only am I sad that I lost a friend, but I actually now I'm angry with you.
Yeah.
Because
it's like losing your friend to zombies.
Because exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they've joined an army of harm doers. Zionbees. There you go.
Yes.
Zion. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, Lizzie's constantly talked about on this show. Here's her.
Allahu Akbar.
She's always saying.
Do you have that on like a?
Oh yeah, I just have it ready at all
times. Like a Lizzie Savetsky reaction machine.
Yeah, just Lizzie. What do you have to say about that?
Akbar.
I agree. God is great.
I know that video.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That's my call to prayer, actually.
Yeah.
I just blast Lizzie saying Allahu Akbar from my window 5 times a day.
I think she is really interesting. I know we have like other things to talk about, but I've thought about her a good amount. And I think she's interesting because she now very proudly wears the hat of like far right orthodox pro-Netanyahu MAGA Zionist.
Yes.
And I have seen a lot of people within like sort of the highly active online Zionist community criticize the more extreme things that she says and does. But she is actually, I think, the natural endpoint for Zionism in general.
Yes.
And so I think she's valuable in that sense because she shows us like the peak of where this all goes.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it is always interesting, or at least one of my personal interests has been watching the metastasis of like Zionist brain rot through the last 22 months, because you see, where someone starts to where they've ended up. And it is wild to watch the like actual Nazification of American Jews, because like I've never seen that level before. I've seen American Jews that I know, friends growing up who got like red pilled and became MAGA people, and I always was like, oh man, that is like, it's always wild to see that kind of stuff, but you never imagine. It's always exists sort of in the abstract where they can kind of like, well, I don't hate anyone. I just think that we should close the borders, and I think we should deport 50 million people or whatnot. Yeah. And there's always this like, thing to it where you can kind of put it in the same box as any kind of white right-wing, ideologue in the United States. But watching straight up Nazi style memes and buzzwords talking about Western civilization all of a sudden they care about the West. Like when someone starts just saying the West over and over again, I'm always just like, where are we going with this?
Even before they start accusing claims of starvation as being made up. Someone needs to remake David Cronenberg's The Fly, but like the Zionist version, where the scientist crosses his DNA with, I don't know, or like the Jews cross our DNA. This is what Zionism is. We like spliced our DNA with strongmen or armies or like having a state, and at first it seems kind of innocuous. We just have we have some superpowers or whatever. Yeah. But by the end of the movie, we're like this fucking monster.
Yes.
That's the state of Israel.
Unrecognizable.
That's the Fly.
Yeah, it's the Brundle fly.
It is. It's so wild. I mean, like the girl who used to drive me home from high school, because like I was a freshman and she was a senior, so she could drive, and she was a family friend. And I remember like when I put my first, we're all Jewish. None of us were Orthodox. We were conservative. Their family was Reform, and she married an Orthodox guy. And when I put my first post up, again in October of 2023, she started messaging me like incessantly, and she messaged me 100 times in a week of just like sending me like, did you see this post from like at IDF? Did you see, all of these things? And she's like, Matt, I love you. I'm just so disappointed. You're like a brother to me. Da 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 da. Like she's always supported the gay thing, whatever. And so I had to very quickly like block her, because I was like, I tried to talk to her at the beginning. This is 2 years ago. But then it got out of control. And I like checked back in on her recently, just like on social media. And she's posting do you know what Jexit is?
Oh, yes. Is that Jewish Dem exit?
Yes. There's nothing you don't know in this world. I wish I wish I could surprise you with something, but I wish. So Jexit,
my brain is fucked, bro.
If the listener doesn't know, Jexit is a take on Blexit, which was something that Candace Owens really championed, which was the black exit from the Democratic Party. This is the Jewish exit from the Democratic Party. It's just like really like racist,
Yeah, I have. There's just so many different versions of this where I have like a friend or someone who I know from the comedy community who is, I don't even think I don't know if he's Jewish or not is the thing, and randomly he just started kind of replying to my posts with like just the bottom of the barrel Hezbollah. And I was just like, what are we doing here, man? It's been, and then I just hadn't checked in with him in a while. And he's retweeting Lee Kern. Like, if you don't know Lee Kern, he's one of the Borat 2 writers who is just straight racist. And
for our listeners, he's the one parodied in Matt's famous UK drill song.
Yes. And like, I just, it's wild because it's like, if you don't check up on some people, you don't know how bad it's gotten. And I want to, we need to transition to the next Zionist brain rot person.
Which it turns out, it doesn't have to be just Jews.
No.
Yeah.
Because our next person is
that's the beautiful thing.
As goyishe and uncut as they come.
Yes. But
I assume.
Yes. No, you are correct. I mean, I don't know about the cut.
I don't know about that.
Speak on his cut. But we will talk about Daniel-Ryan Spaulding in a moment. But
Daniel-Ryan Spaulding.
Yes. But first, we do need to take a quick commercial break. So everyone, please stick around because we will be right back. And we're back. This is Bad Hasbara, world's most moral podcast, and we're here with Matt Bernstein. How you doing, Matt?
I'm so excited to talk about this. I don't really have an outlet to talk about this in my normal life because
who would know? Because who would know anything about this person?
And
right?
like, who would want to take up our precious and finite amount of time on Earth talking about this? Me.
Us.
And
That's
you.
who.
Yes,
exactly.
us.
Exactly.
Wasting time, us.
Wasting time, us. Brain full of lore, us. Useless
Killing
lore.
souls, us.
Yeah. We're talking about Daniel-Ryan Spaulding. He is, for those of you who don't remember, he is someone he's an influencer. He is a Jewish ally. He's a non-Jewish Israel ally who does, I mean, at least since October 7th, his whole brand has been
the world's worst Shabbos goy.
yeah, exactly. He really is. I mean, I'd like to think that it's nice to have a Shabbos goy who would like, not only will I, turn off that ceiling fan that you accidentally kept on, during Shabbat, but he'll also
come in and strangle a baby for you on Saturday when you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
Kick a puppy.
Yeah, he'll also do some crimes for you. So his whole brand seems to be being like someone who loves Israel and hates Hamas and does weird sexualization of Israelis.
Yes.
Matt, you are one of the rare people who is also familiar with Daniel-Ryan Spaulding. Can you tell us what was he doing before this became his brand?
So I will say, like, I'm not a scholar. I don't hate myself that much.
Yeah.
But Daniel-Ryan Spaulding, he's Canadian. Yeah, he's Canadian, but he's lived in a bunch of places. He lived in Berlin for 5 years, which is kind of where he got his start online doing comedy.
Okay.
And a lot of his early sketches that he was making were sort of parodying Berlin hipsters.
Okay.
And then around all in like 2023, a couple of things happened. He got, I believe, the gastric sleeve weight loss surgery. So he lost a ton of weight. Yes,
because his early videos, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
And I, and I was shocked because I was like, oh, I didn't know that this was a part of his story, was this like weight loss journey. It was true. He got the gastric bypass thing.
Yeah. So I believe that's the surgery he got.
I mean, either way, he lost the weight. Either way, hero.
Yeah. I mean, I have no feelings about his appearance. Though I do think there's an interesting, analysis to be made about what he's doing now with regard to the people that he surrounds himself with.
Yes.
And how they look, which I think we should get to. But yeah, so he basically just for a long time did like parodies of Berlin hipsters, like kind of just like, look how weird these people are. But it didn't seem so egregious. It's the way that like a lot of people would make fun of like Williamsburg hipsters 10 years ago, you know?
You know, there was another person who lived in a German-speaking country to do art. And
Hey, I think we just got our first spit take.
Yeah, I actually did almost.
And it's always nice when you know, someone has some history to fall back on.
Well, look at what happens when artists in Germany fail. Because I don't think, you know, he's had a number of sort of pivots, and like I don't think the comedy thing was necessarily getting him super far.
Sure.
So he has this weight loss surgery, and then there's a lot of content about that, which again, like I don't really have any feelings about that.
Right.
But then he moves back to New York, and October 7th happens, and like everything becomes what it is now.
Yes, everything changes. And you know, what's interesting about him is early on, I almost saw him as kind of like your boilerplate pink washing influencer, where his style was essentially, you know, like, as a gay man, let me explain to my fellow gay brethren why they are wrong to support Palestine. And then kind of like the boilerplate, like, hey, you know, Palestinians hate gay people, throw them off roofs, all of the like memes that are not backed up by anything other than just anyone's, you know, latent Islamophobia, where you just believe that all Arabs are homophobic, racist, sexist, all this stuff.
Although strangely, his early stuff did seem rather hostile towards like younger queer people.
Yes.
Yeah. There's really a through line through all of it. Because you look at, I was just watching before we got on to record, I was like watching some of his stuff where he was making fun of Berlin hipsters, which like in and of itself, it's like kind of innocuous. It's kind of low hanging fruit in my opinion, as far as like comedy or content.
But it's Hater like already did it.
But it's like kind of innocuous. But then you see once he starts doing the Zionist stuff, it's all about like, he's not focusing, you know, broadly on anti-Zionists, broadly on pro-Palestine people. He specifically carves out, he creates a character, and the character actually has its own Instagram. And the character is called Purple Hair Girl.
Yes.
And it's this archetypal queer sort of left-wing social justice warrior who like goes to Columbia, who is a girl with purple hair and pronouns, and you know, doesn't understand that Hamas would throw her off a roof, whatever.
Yes.
And this is kind of his stand-in for anybody who criticizes Israel, especially a queer person, is the purple hair girl. And so you see this, it's always been punching down. You know?
Right.
And in my opinion, it's always been punching down in a way that's kind of very clearly overcompensating, because you can tell that this is a fundamentally insecure person.
Yes, very much so. And here is one of his many purple-haired girl videos that he did early on. And Daniel, you and I, we actually covered this video in like episode 6 of this podcast. And here it is. Right
Israel is a colonialist state. Hi, I'm Mr. Daniel, and this is my friend, the purple-haired girl.
Daniel.
She is
like, you keep track of the demeanor and the tone and everything about this video.
Probably the wardrobe too. He's in his fucking Mr. Rogers era right here.
Yes. Just it's
dressed
important.
Like Ronald Reagan.
It's very important to note it for.
Although maybe that's for the sake of the bit. I'm Mr. Daniel.
Sure, it is, but also this was the tone, I think, of 99% of his videos for like maybe the first 3 to 6 months.
not a bad person, but she's been radicalized to become a raging Jew hater, and we want to help her.
So early on, he could describe someone who he describes as radicalized to be a Jew hater as not a bad person.
Yeah.
That's just so you know. This was the nuance he was working with at this time.
Colonialism is terrorism, and Israel is a colonialist state. Hi, purple hair girl. Hello, Zionist pinkwasher. What country is Israel a colony of? What? You said Israel is a colonial state. What country is it a colony of? A colonial state is when one country exploits another, like how the British Empire had India as a colony. They took over land and exploited the
Oh
resources.
my god, this isn't even a good gotcha.
No, I know this is. I love
haven't
the.
seen this one.
It can't be subtler colonialism because of the fact that there isn't another previous Jewish state that exists.
I was like, what? Like, it's a military outpost of the United States. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I love it. By this definition, as soon as the United States declared independence from Britain, they were no longer. We are no longer a colonialist state. I love that. That's true. We aren't. We there's no settling happening here, especially since we literally. They call themselves settlers in the West Bank. What are we doing?
And they were completely enabled from the beginning by the colonial powers. What, you ever heard of the Balfour Declaration?
Right. Yes.
Okay, so let's say they're a new iteration of settler colonialism. I do have to say, he had, he'd studied his Hasbara lessons. To quote the Queen of Pop, or to channel her, a man can tell 1,000 lies. He's learned his lesson well.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I feel like you were speaking to me on that one.
Pandering a little.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point in his, we can call it career. Why not?
It very much is his career.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely what gets him money. So that's a career. He is studying the Hasbara. He's figuring out ways in which to make these arguments. And the point of these arguments, of course, is to uses fuel for other Zionists to debunk claims of, colonialism and all that stuff.
Do we have the video where he takes a shot at my dad?
It's no,
That's fine.
It turns out I have a different. Yes,
purple hair girl's tossing her purple hair, being like, "I love Gabor Mate," and like Daniel-Ryan Spaulding comes to the rescue and says, "Actually, purple hair girl, Gabor Mate is a self-hating Jew."
Right?
Yeah. Daniel-Ryan Spaulding even like calls Jews online who are anti-Zionist or who criticize Israel in any capacity. Like, he says capo.
Yeah,
that is that's the new definition of chutzpah, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
I mean, this is like a deeply anti-Semitic individual.
Yes.
In so many ways. I mean, like, you can tell so much of his, not to go in like every direction at once, but like so much of this for him is also originates with just his fetish for Israeli men, which he's very open about, and which it's strange to me that, in some ways it's strange to me that they're so open and welcoming towards him when he clearly is very just like, look at all these hot, sexy, big, sweaty, muscular Israeli men, like basically like death to the rest of the Middle East. It's really strange.
It is weird. I mean, listen, there was a time, at one point when I dated someone who had basically had a fetish for Jews, and I was like, well, that's fun. I've never been like othered in a positive way before. So I was like, this is,
but she was
great.
working out historical guilt, right? Wasn't she German, or is that's just one of your bits?
No. She was, it turned out that she just really liked Jerry Lewis a lot. And I got kind of offended because I was like, wait, but why are you choosing the most nebbishy of all? Like, why not, I don't know, Jeff Goldblum or something? I thought I was Jeff Goldblum to her. It turned out I was Jerry Lewis.
For Israelis, I can very plausibly imagine that they would have a fetish for Goyish submissives, like the the worship, the race worship is. Yeah,
I mean,
it's the inverse of what Israel was founded upon, which was the Jewish, including the sexual subjugation. That came out of the Holocaust.
But I mean, the weird stuff that you're talking about, Matt, is here's him in just maybe a few months ago talking. He went to Israel, and he made this video.
Power is the only way to do good in the world. That's what I learned from these hard, strong Israeli men.
What's the only way to do good in the world?
Power.
Power.
Just real quick, starting that video off with power is the only way to do good in the world. Like it just this is less than a year from the previous video, and already I'm like, I'm seeing a little bit of the Nazi stuff happening here.
The word Nazi comes to mind. I mean, I would say too, like, the substance of what he says in his videos isn't that different from like what Lizzie Savetsky says or what Noah Tishby says or any of these people. It's like all different sort of outfits on the same rhetoric. Yes. What has been really interesting to me about Daniel-Ryan Spaulding is the flavor that he puts on it, which I find extraordinarily bizarre.
Yes.
This is what I was getting at a little bit earlier about how he surrounds himself with all of these like muscular, sort of like roided out, often white gay men. And he doesn't look like them.
No.
And as a gay man who has navigated some of these spaces, like when you see clusters of gay men, this is interesting to talk about, but like when you see clusters of gay men in a nightclub setting or like this, where it's like a gym on the beach situation.
Sure.
Just like, and they all look like this. They're all extremely muscular. They all look alike. They've all like shaved their face the same way. They're like part of the in-group dynamic. Like the most important part of the in-group dynamic there is that like you are fuckable to the people present.
Yes.
And like as a gay man, I have been in these spaces where like I'm the odd one out. Like when I was in college, for example, one of my best friends was someone who could very easily navigate those spaces because he looked like that. And sometimes he would bring me along. And I, especially at the time, was like this like scrawny boy with nails and makeup.
Right.
And so I was not taken seriously by the people at those parties or in those bomb shelters. In the case of Daniel-Ryan Spaulding, he's like filming himself in bomb shelters with muscular gay men. I wasn't taken seriously as a sexual object. So I was given much less attention by them. And it feels like, you know, like you're just not included. Like it felt very bad for me. And so I just left. But what I will say is if you can't be, you know, a sexual option to those types of people, then you might be able to provide something else to them and take up this role of what I thought of myself as at the time, which was like the court jester, which was like, oh, like I'm like the femmy little, you know, gay guy with like the nails and the makeup. And like, and also like I have a bunch of Instagram followers. So like, isn't that cool? And like, look at me, like I'll tap dance for you. So like these like, you know, big sexy guys will, you know, allow me in their spaces. And it's a really, you know, that was like, I was like 20 and that sort of thing just made me feel so badly about myself. And I know I'm doing like, I think I'm doing a very generous psychoanalysis of him. But like Daniel-Ryan Spaulding, like I think he, in these spaces that he puts himself in now, he is a court jester essentially, but it's like a genocidal court jester. Where he's like, I will tap dance for you and you won't have sex with me, but you will allow me to like order vodka sodas from the same bar as you because like I'll include you in my Instagram video. That goes out to an audience of people that is also very curious to me because I don't know who these videos are for.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think you're not wrong in terms of like just the psychoanalysis, especially around also his the thing about his weight, you know, because like it's like you said, who he chooses to surround himself with is kind of saying a lot in terms of what he maybe thought about himself earlier on before he had, you know, his weight loss journey, and just his obsession with power, the way he talks about it. Like his brand is I'm a power gay.
Yes.
And that's the whole thing. And it is weird because when someone says, like when I first heard him say that, I looked at it as kind of innocuous. It's just like, you know, power synonymous with like pride, synonymous with being comfortable with who you are and wanting to say it loudly. Now I'm just like, oh, he's a white power gay.
Yeah, I think the power gay thing, I had the same thing where it's like, initially it's like, oh, like power gay, like the type of gay who would be on Queer Eye or something.
Right, like
But
girl
now-
power,
Yeah.
like power being
But-
a good thing sometimes.
But now it's very like, there's like a Third Reich sort of
yeah,
thing
exactly.
to it. But the other thing I'll say about the whole power gay thing, so if the listener isn't really familiar, like he'll start a lot of his videos and be like, as a power gay at Tel Aviv
Yes.
Pride, or as a power gay in New York. And it's like, gay people don't talk like that. Like
Right.
I have met a lot of gay people in my day. No one talks like that. It's like it's like a middle-aged sort of like straight person's stereotype of a white gay man. It's very strange to watch. And I've thought every time I watch his videos, I'm like, who is this for? And I think that is who it's for. I think it's mostly like suburban middle-aged Zionist, like straight women probably.
Yeah, but
It's the Steve Buscemi meme, except it's "Hello, fellow sassy bitches" or whatever.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Can we watch the rest?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because when you say who is this for, it could be for straight Tel Avivians, and that is possible. But it seems like such a small group of people. Like, just let's watch the rest of the video. Here is
You see,
more of him.
Israel doesn't start wars. It also doesn't lose wars. Whining and being weak, that's not moral under Zionism. No. The way to do good in the world is by protecting yourself. That's why we're gonna fucking take out that Islamic Republic. Khomeini, watch your fucking self. We're gonna trash you. We're gonna destroy you. We're gonna free the people of Iran. And tonight, in our bomb shelter, we're organizing a gay sex party. He found a bomb shelter with air conditioning. Very breathable, very comfortable. The Iron Dome will protect us, enjoying the power of raw, strong Israeli manpower. No weak.
Okay, so like
It's
watching.
like, please stop. Just like, please, I don't want
This
to.
is like a gay bashing video. I mean,
But it's so
No
it's so
weakness.
uncanny because it's a parody of itself.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
nobody talks like this.
and it sounds like a parody video. It sounds like a sketch. Like there's no weakness under Zionism.
yeah.
Well, and it's just it's so offensive.
yeah.
I mean,
it-
and I feel like if you spoke this way about any other group of men, they would be
Yes.
so offended by this.
yes.
But I guess Zionism is just so willing to accept anyone to do their bidding for them
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they're like, yeah, fine, we'll
Especially-
take you.
Especially if they are clearly right-wing fascists, and I think that is
Yeah.
like the big difference that I think you see when it comes to like any other, like you said, any other group would be like offended by this, but Israel and Israelis, they do not shy away from partnerships with actual Nazis, with actual anti-Semites a lot of the time.
They do shy away from gay partnerships, and that gay marriage isn't legal there.
Well, I mean, and that's the other thing is like then you're dealing with the fact that we're all sitting here pretending as if Israel is a place in which it is like Mecca for all gay men of the world. Like it's like a gay Zion as well. Which
I
is,
wonder how gay men are treated in the army. There,
I can't imagine. I mean, and it's just
Or
like
how Palestinian gay men are treated by the army.
well, there you go.
Yes, I mean you see
They're
it.
blackmailed. They're used.
Exactly.
They're blackmailed into collaboration often.
It's
Yeah,
just so strange. Like, because also like I've watched some of Daniel-Ryan Spaulding's videos, and he's always doing this where he's kind of like circling around himself with the camera, like almost in like a way that could make you seasick if you watched it for long enough.
Yeah, like sleazy feline movements where you're just like
They have a contraption for that at Times Square. Have you seen it?
Yes, exactly. Where it, like the camera just like does circles around you.
Yeah.
But like I've seen him do this in various places in Manhattan, in the Fire Island Pines, like places that I've been, and I'm like, I can't imagine you standing in public. Like yelling these like white power screeds into your phone, circling around like you're like drunk. I mean, it's very strange. I'm like, I don't know what I would do if I saw you on the Fire Island boardwalk. It's strange.
Yeah, it's all of it is weird because it's like it's almost like groundbreaking in a way where you're just kind of like, wow, like a gay Nazi feels. I don't know, feels like a glass ceiling has been broken, in some way. And
I mean,
it's the lowest, most
a gay Nazi that isn't getting purged.
Right. Well, yeah, but it's like you're seeing the way he speaks too, is also mirroring a lot of like very foundational, Zionist texts. Like he sounds like he's doing like. He's like gay Jabotinsky, where the way in which he speaks about weakness, the way
Jabotinsky, am I right?
Yeah, it's great.
We can workshop that.
We'll work on it. This is 6 out of 10. But like he speaks in ways that I've only ever seen like foundational Zionists talk about it, where he is talking about almost like the new Jew.
Yeah.
And it's weird to see that from someone who is not Jewish because you are. I mean, it's like, not that it's okay if you are Jewish to speak like that, but when someone isn't Jewish, it's like extra offensive. It's like extra like it's. You can't do the lambs to the slaughter meme when you talk about like Holocaust victims as like going like lambs to the slaughter, unlike these new Jews in Israel who vanquish our enemies. If you're doing that as like a non-Jewish person, I don't know, that's like double offensive.
But it all comes together, doesn't it? Like what you, Matt said about this, the I think compassionate, but often the compassionate psychoanalysis or the compassionate read on someone is the accurate one. It's not, you're not soft pedaling anything by getting inside the emotional world of it, because that's where it's twisted, right? And the self-hatred that you're tracking in his system, in his energy, right, completely mirrors the self-hatred, the self-rejection that prompted people like Jabotinsky to imagine a new Jew, because the old Jew was the kid who got called the F word on the European school playground.
Right.
And now we're going to create a proud, new, buff power Jew. And the two things absolutely cohere.
They do.
Yeah, I think, again, if you look at the entirety of his career, both its successes and its failures, which I'd call what he's doing right now a success. I mean, he's been recognized by several government bodies for combating anti-Semitism, including the state of California. But,
really?
You see, I
didn't know. My state?
According to his website. So I don't know what the actual award was, but I know it came from the state.
I think what he means is not that he got recognized by the state of California, but when he was in California, someone recognized him. Like, hey, you stupid fuck.
Yeah. That like genocide guy.
Yeah. But I mean, this is someone who has always wanted to be on the side of power.
Yeah.
And as a fat gay man, it can be hard to feel like you're on the side of power. So in the beginning of his career, it was making fun of hipsters, even though he, probably socially would have benefited from, like having solidarity with other people who are put on the margins of society for whatever reason, whether, for whatever quirk or identity marginalization. And now you just see Zionism as a way for him to be, powerful and to be on the side of power. And so many of the worst people who do horrible things, especially like I just talk a lot about media grifters in my own work and on my own podcast. So much of it comes from a place of just, when you talk about right-wing grifters, just not being that good. at what they were doing before. I mean, a lot of them are failed actors. Daniel-Ryan Spaulding is a failed entertainer, and just wanting to be recognized for being good at something. I mean, Riley Gaines was, a fifth place swimmer.
Yes.
Who's now first place Fox News host. So.
Right. And it's like seeing it, it's weird because it is, as you guys are saying, sort of like, the Zionist ideology and microcosm for a very specific non-Jewish sect of people who are just like, they're marginalized in different ways. And they're looking at, others in their same situation, whether it's other gay people or other anything, and going like, you guys are doing it wrong because what you should be doing is supporting power wherever it may lie. And it's weird to see it with him because his final destination, not unlike Lizzie Savetsky, is full Zionist brain rot. And this is the most, not the most recent video, but a more recent video of him going just full insane. Here he is.
I'm not scared either. The people of Israel aren't scared. Nope. The people of Iran are not scared. Nope. Two ancient people, the Iranians and the Israelis. You know who should be scared? Those fucking jihadists sending missiles over here. Those fucking communists and Islamists and Marxist academics who have poisoned the West with their fucking anti-Zionist bullshit. The anti-Zionist Jews who betrayed their people, they should be scared.
Du jetzt deine Stimme ab. Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
I mean,
yes.
Right?
Yes. I think about this so much because Zionism, much like Nazism, it's such an angry ideology rooted in violence and anger and placing human beings in a hierarchy. And you see this time and time again where people who really fervently devote themselves to these things, they start, I mean, especially with Zionism now, like they talk how Nazis spoke, where it's just always like anger.
Yes.
I've seen this, within my own family, and it's scary, quite honestly.
Kids, do not buy poppers from someone you don't know. They may have slipped Zionism into it.
Yeah, exactly. There's test strips now for any shitty drugs to make sure there's no Zionism in it.
Oh, we need some anti-Zionist Narcan.
Straight up, dude. Well, maybe we can ask Effie Neferin. Yeah, it's wild seeing this is where it goes. And Matt, I think you and I probably, I think a lot of us can relate to this feeling of like early on seeing the people that we knew who were falling into this and trying to talk to them, trying to like maybe reason with them in some way.
Yeah.
And then realizing you can't break through and going, you know what, I'm just better to back away and wait. And as stories started piling up of the realities in Gaza about what is happening, that feeling of, I should check on those people to see, if eventually I'm going to get an apology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then finding out, holy shit, it's gotten worse,
Yeah.
Have you experienced, first, has anyone apologized to you yet?
Yes, actually.
Oh, wonderful.
I've had a couple people apologize. I think I've watched more people just sort of shift their beliefs without recognizing what they may have been saying 22 months ago.
Sure.
And look, like I'm not, in this for ego. I would rather that happen than it not happen.
Sure. You're not the receipts police, but
I'm not the receipts police, but we remember, we do.
We don't forget.
And I've been chipping away at people in my family and my childhood for a long time. And, you can't do that with everyone in the whole world. But like, I always hold out hope that they'll come around. And I see some people who really have, especially I think as people realize like that liberal Zionism is not a tenable ideology. When you're watching like endgame Zionism happen now and you're like, oh, there's nothing liberal about this.
Right.
You've seen I have seen some people, we talked about this on my podcast, Matt. You see some people are like, wait, okay, Zionism's bad and I'm going to be an anti-Zionist. And then you see some people go, well, I have to stay a Zionist. So if I can't be liberal, then I'm just going to be an avowed right-wing Zionist. And, and you watch that happen too.
Yeah.
But I have received a couple. I have received a couple apologies.
It's nice that's happened, because it's so rare. I mean, it is. I'll be honest. Like, my expectation, for myself and my wife was vastly overblown. We really thought, like, at some point, and we've received, one apology from somebody who sent us a gold in my ear quote, like,
in their apology.
No, it was, they sent it, and then later we're like, hey, I kind of realized that last time we spoke, I sent that quote about how it's like, we'll never forgive them for making us kill their children.
We can forgive Matt Lieb and Francesca Fiorentini for being anti-Zionists, but we can never forgive them for forcing us to break up with them as friends.
Right. Yeah. And they did realize that, okay, so maybe that in light of all the child murder, maybe that didn't come off in the way that
didn't age so well.
Yeah, but for the most,
there's this metaphor, and I don't even know if it's like, I don't even know if this is a real thing, but it was something that was like said to me as a child, which is like, if you put a frog, have you heard this? Like, if you put a frog in boiling water, it's going to jump out. But if you put a frog into a pot of water and slowly turn up the temperature until it's boiling, it will stay in and it will die.
Right.
And I think about that with a lot of people I know who have clung to Zionism, even after all of this, where, like, I feel like years ago, if I said to someone, will you choose to support an ideology that has committed a genocide and live streamed it to the rest of the world, and we can see the bones of children, we can see the shatters of a hospital? They would say, well, no, of course not. But what Israel has done is they've, I won't say they've taken it from 0 to 100, because there's been, apartheid for 70 years.
Right, of course.
Within the last 2 years, it's been like this, again, heavy air quotes, but like slow drip genocide that allows people to deny it and make excuses every step of the way.
Right.
And so I do feel like it has been, that pot has been turned up to boiling, and I'm like looking around, like, whereas at one point I thought, okay, these people are going to jump out at some point. They're going to jump ship, and they haven't.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's the Milgram experiment.
Is the frog actually does jump out in real life.
Yes, that cliche is not true.
Right. But the crazy thing is it's
good for the frog, but
good for the frog. The frog is smarter.
Yeah,
the frog is more moral. It's
the most moral frog. Yeah.
It brings to mind also for me the Milgram experiment. I don't know if you guys remember this from like introductory psychology, but they did a study, I guess in the 60s or 70s, of just how much evil people will be complicit in, and it was this thing where you're meant to believe that you're delivering electric shocks to a person in the next room when they give incorrect answers, and the level to which, because they graduated it up very, very slowly from just a bzzz to screaming and pleading for mercy coming from the next room, and of course it was faked, but a shocking number of people kept going because they had developed a certain tolerance, and because they were being told, you have to do this. These are the rules. The experiment won't work if you don't. So this kind of graduated complicity or moral numbing that happens allows people to take things much further than they ever would have imagined.
Right. Yeah. And you see, like, if you're not going to be convinced by however many thousands and thousands of people that you and people personally who are telling you, no, for real, supporting Israel is supporting genocide. Like, maybe, and this is, I know, a fool's hope, but maybe my hope is that you look at someone like Daniel-Ryan Spaulding as like this very obvious cautionary tale, where you go, like, the end point of this belief structure is that that anything can be justified under the veil of, well, I'm doing this for me and for the protection of my own. Like anything can be justified. And you need to ask yourself, like, do I want to be that crazy online? Like, do I, at the very least, ask yourself, do I want to look that insane? And
you want to end up a power goy.
Right. Exactly. I mean, listen, I understand that there are people who want to be allies, but there's a way to do it in which you don't support genocide.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I totally agree. And again, I think that like people like Daniel-Ryan Spaulding, people like Lizzie Savetsky, they're crazy, but they're also kind of valuable because you can point to someone like that and be like, this is the end point. And they're very it's so mask off. And you have relatively more popular people like Noah Tishby, who sort of dress it up with this very calculated like CNN voice. Yes. And like, I pretend to care about liberal democracy or whatever, but the belief system will lead you to a place where you are screaming into a camera about how mass death of brown people is justified because it allows you to take care of your own.
And
like, that's
even on the level of venal vanity, if you want to appeal to someone, you could say, both in the case of Lizzie and Daniel-Ryan Spaulding, boy, oh boy, these people just got uglier over the past couple of years, didn't they?
Yes.
I mean, it's stomach turning. You can't look at them anymore.
Like, because you see it. It's almost physical, where you can see it on their face. You see the, like, it's not just age. It's like, I don't know. It's a darkness that like comes out in crow's feet.
There's no foundation for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Lizzie's lucky because her husband is a plastic surgeon.
I know. I know. That's why she's like, I'm expecting some soul degradation to start showing up on my features. I got to marry someone who knows how to fix that. Isn't that right, Lizzie?
Allah Akbar!
Thank you. And with that, I want to say, who else is great? Matt Bernstein. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and talking with us.
This is so fun. This is like my, inner dialogue, but we get to do it out loud.
I love it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
If you guys want to hear me chirp more, A Bit Fruity, anywhere you get podcasts.
Yes, please listen to A Bit Fruity. Watch A Bit Fruity. It's there's gonna be a link in the show description. It's a really great show. And if you haven't seen it yet, you could watch our episode that we did together about the anti-Semitism panic. And you've done so much great work. And truly, thank you for the work you've been doing, for speaking out, and thank you for coming on this podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Patreon.com/badhasbara, badhasbara@gmail.com for all your questions, comments, and concerns. All right, everyone. Thanks again so much for listening. And until next time, from the river to the sea.
I'm coming out fascistically.
Stop embarrassing me. Stop embarrassing me in front of my friends.
Jumping jacks was us. Push-ups was us. Krav Maga us. All karate us. Taking Molly us. Michael Jackson us. Yamaha Key